what this world is coming to.
Hey yo, check this out, this is Flavor Flav, and if you want the whole truth and nothing but the whole truth, so help the whole truth. Hey yo, you better listen to Dontae, baby. Dontae!
What's going on, guys, and welcome to another great edition of the Dontae's Boxing Nation Show. I am your host, Dontae, and it's going down. We have another great show for you guys. As always, Ward versus Kovalev. That's the main thing we're going to be talking about. We got a lot of questions to answer. I mean, was it a robbery? Was it a racial civil war when it comes to fans who they thought won the fight? We're going to answer all those questions. So first things first, let me go ahead and introduce the panel as I always do at this time. I got my man AK, Arab King in the building. I go ahead and subscribe to his channel, by the way, as well. I got my man Kirk Jackson, he's on the line as well, man. So let's go ahead and get into the show. Let's get it cracking, y'all. Man, it's going down, y'all. It is going down. Let's get it. Let's get into it, man. So first things first, AK, since I haven't really talked to you since the fight came on and everything, what was your reaction? How did you score the fight, man?
Well, I had Andre Ward winning the fight, obviously, 8 rounds to 4. And that's kind of like me giving Kovalev the benefit of the doubt. Honestly, I try to give Kovalev every round he earned. And at the end of the day, I hate when people say you score this fight based on what you like. If you like the aggressive fighter, you give it to Kovalev, or if you like the puncher, you give it to Kovalev. If you like the boxer, you give it to Andre Ward. That's not how you score fights.
Mm-hmm.
You got to score all the fights the same way, which is on who's controlling the ring, which is ring generalship, who's landing the cleaner, effective blows, which was Ward in this fight, most of the fight, and also who's controlling the other guy. And if you Kovalev did good early in the fight, but after I think like the 4th round, he kind of basically Andre Ward figured him out after that and got his timing down packed. And you don't hear people say, "Oh, Kovalev was holding too much," because he literally every time Andre Ward tried to fight him in the inside, he would hold him and put him in a headlock. You didn't hear people complain about him doing that all night like they did with Floyd Mayweather versus Pacquiao, even though Floyd Mayweather didn't held as much, right?
Yeah.
And can you believe HBO said that Andre Ward is running the whole night? He
Wow.
fight him.
Did they say that?
He can't win that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah, and I'm like, first of all, it's Kovalev every time Andre Ward trying to, get him in the inside and fight him, he's putting him in a headlock. But you're not gonna mention that, and you saying Andre Ward is running. And I'm like, I mean, they HBO, man, they all need to get fired. Other than Roy Jones, it was horrible commentating.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, man, they really ruined the night for me. And they scored it 116, 112 or something like that for Kovalev.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what they were watching, but at the end of the day, like I said, Andre Ward, the first round, you could have had it for a draw. Because Andre Ward did the better work, but Kovalev did hurt him with a jab, or Andre Ward, he was squared up when he got caught, so he fell off balance, you could say. But in the second round, he got, Kovalev threw a 1-2, and Andre Ward tried to counter the jab, and it was just a bad timing for Andre Ward, and he got caught with a 1-2. When he got put down, when he got up, and after, I thought he honestly pulled off the 3rd round almost. And then the 4th round, he did better. Then the 5th round after that, he literally wasn't dominating the fight in a way that Kovalev wasn't in it anymore, but he was winning the rounds. If Andre Ward throws 100 punches and lands 100 punches to Kovalev 10, Andre Ward wins the round, right? If Andre Ward throws 60 punches or lands 60 punches and Kovalev throws 40 punches and he lands 40, who wins the round? Andre Ward. Both rounds Andre Ward won. It's just that one round he was more dominant than the other. That's kind of like how the flow of this fight. Andre Ward was winning a lot of rounds, but he wasn't that dominant. Like Kovalev's still in there, but he was missing a whole lot. But HBO literally, he will throw a punch and miss, and Kovalev and people and the HBO commentators will say, oh, what a beautiful right hand by Kovalev. I think he won the round because of his right hand. And then they show it in the replay, and he missed. And I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, how you, and then they'd be like, oh, well, it partially landed. And I'm like, partially landed my ass. You trying to say he won the round just because of the right hand, and he missed it.
That goes.
You know, it was stuff like that was pissing me off, and I'm telling you, I mean, it was one of the worstest commentating ever, and I feel bad for Walters already. But we're not gonna get to that
Oh
later.
my
But
God!
yeah, that's my thoughts on the fight.
Hey, but see, but AK, this goes back to what I was saying at the beginning. You know, this is a civil war, basically. I mean, and let's just be real. Let's stop beating around the bush. It's a racial civil war right now, and it's the Southerners versus the Northerners, or however you want to put it. Because we already know when it comes to HBO, they're the Fox News of boxing. That's all expected, you know, so you can't really take nothing that they say serious. When I came home and I watched the fight, you know, I put it on mute. I got me some good music to listen to. I didn't listen to nothing they had to say because I already knew they were going to do this. Keep in mind, guys, these are the same commentators that said when Walters fought against Jason Sosa, that was a fair decision, that it was a draw, right? So I'm gonna tell the fans right now, any fan who tried to justify that draw, you ain't got no right to be sitting over here talking about this fight was a robbery. You know, I don't even want to hear from you. You ain't got nothing to say if you said that was a draw. Or if you said, you know, Canelo, he beat the shit out of Lara and, you know, it could not have went either way. Now, I respect you if you say the fight was close, it could have went either way. But if you say, oh, no, there's no way Lara could have won that fight, but then you turn around and you say when it comes to Ward versus Kovalev, it was a robbery. You know, this is the thing that I want to say. This is how I broke down the fight. There's no way a fight that close can be considered a robbery. A robbery would be somebody winning a fight 9 rounds to 3, 8 rounds to 4. Like when Lara fought against Canelo, you had one judge that had Canelo winning the fight almost 10 rounds to 2. You know what I mean? That is what you call a robbery, at least from a judge. But when you have 3 judges that have the fight scored the exact same way, 114 to 113, and then when you look at the CompuBox, when you look at the punch stats, they were razor thin. Kovalev, he landed a couple more punches, and Andre Ward, he had a higher connect percentage. So there's no way you could say that was a robbery. My whole thing is, if you told me Kovalev won the fight, I wouldn't have a problem with you saying that. If you say you thought it was a draw, I wouldn't have a problem with you saying that. So clearly, if you say I thought Ward won, I'm not going to have a problem with that either. The fight was just that close. The first 6 rounds, like I was telling Kirk when we were at the fight, the first 6 rounds was clearly dominated by Sergey Kovalev, right? But then you have the 5th round that Andre Ward clearly won. Matter of fact, my scorecard was the exact same scorecard that Harold Letterman had leading all the way up to the 9th round. And coincidentally, that was the same scorecard that all 3 judges had leading all the way up until the 9th round. That's when Harold Letterman basically started to switch up. You know what I'm saying? And you know, he had a different scorecard than everybody else. So he was in the minority. Yeah, we were all agreeing with each other up until that point. But let me say one more thing. Something else I wanted to say is the first 6 rounds, once again, Andre Ward, he won one of those rounds. Now, there was an additional round in the first 6 that could have went either way, because there were a couple swing rounds in this fight that could have went either way. So you could have gave Andre Ward 1 out of 6, or you could have gave him 2 out of 6. And then in the last 6 rounds, I would say there was maybe 1 swing round in the last 6 rounds where you could have gave it to Kovalev or you could have gave it to Ward. Depending on how you lean in that shift or in that swing round, that's how you would have the fight. So I had the fight 1 point for Andre Ward, but once again, I don't argue with anyone who had the fight closer or had it for Kovalev. Go ahead, guys. You was about to say something, AK?
Yeah. I just want to say that I don't know about, Kovalev winning the first 6 rounds, because honestly, like the 5th round and the 6th round went in Ward, like, in my opinion, when I watched the fight over again. Like, I watched the fight a lot of times, and even the first round, you could say it was even, because Andre Ward landed more punches and more, like, Kovalev was missing a lot. He just caught him with a couple jabs, and that was about it, and he wobbled him with 1. And the 3rd round, Andre Ward did well. So there's a lot of rounds that Andre did well. It's just that Kovalev, he landed. He was doing well as he was doing good as well, and that's why I see people getting confused and having Kovalev. But you cannot have Kovalev just winning the fight no matter what. Like, I don't see how you have Kovalev just winning the fight if that's your opinion. I mean, if you say it was a close fight, yeah, but at the end of the day, Andre Ward won most of the rounds.
And hold on.
You should give him more credit.
And let me say this. I want to cut you off real quick because I'm trying to read some of the comments. I'm going to give shots out to some of you guys, but I'm looking at something right here. And one guy, he said, all black guys think Ward won the case. Ward fought like a bitch, right? This is exactly what I mean when I say this is a racial civil war. You see how people, they base their decision on race? I've seen half of the comments were like this. So I would like to ask the decaf who just said that, why is it Spitty from inside this corner, he had Andre Ward winning by 2 rounds? He's not black. AK, A-Rap King, he's not black. You know what I mean? So, I mean, they want to...
Let me say...
Go ahead.
Let me say something to him, Andre. First of all, I ain't black. I think Andre Ward won the fight clearly. And another thing, Andre Ward did not fight like a bitch. He got up after he got knocked down and showed you the heart of a champion. And he came back and won the fight. And another thing, he tried to fight in the inside. And it was Kovalev who was holding and put him in a headlock like 50 times in this fight. You know, he didn't want no inside work.
No inside work. No.
At the end of the day, who fought like a bitch? The guy who wanted to fight in the inside and give y'all what y'all want to call like toe-to-toe action, or the guy who just wanted to keep it at a distance. So you tell me.
Well, leave it to a person that's never stepped in the ring or boxed to call another fighter a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like
all the time, all the time. Go ahead.
And pretty much my opinion on the fight, I agree with you guys. First off, it was a close fight. You can argue either person won the fight. It's based on what you look for when you're scoring a fight. Just like what A-Rap King said, I think there's certain things that you should look for when judging a round. I tend to look for effective aggression, controlling the ring, controlling the pace, defense, and clean, effective punching. I think a lot of people, especially with this Andre Ward fight, they're used to seeing him so much more dominant. So like when we're seeing him in highly competitive rounds, they may have been tricked and they may have thought, oh, well, maybe Kovalev's winning because he's doing better than the other guys. And that's like, no, that's not how you score a fight. You can't do comparative rounds and score a fight like that. I think that's what Floyd suffered against when he fought Castillo the first time. Mm-hmm. People weren't used to seeing Mayweather struggle. He's so dominant. Mm-hmm. But because of that, they gave additional rounds, or they scored the fight for Castillo. Mm-hmm. I think the same thing happened with Kovalev. And of course, you get the biased commentary from HBO saying biased, that punches are landing, and when they're in reality they're not. Mm. I think in round 11, Jen Lampley said that he gave Kovalev credit for a landed punch that didn't land, so he corrected himself. But the thing is, with Lampley, he's been doing that the past 20 years. He's been a broadcaster. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's the worst play-by-play commentator ever, and it's so bad that you're pushing a certain narrative. You have a certain agenda where you're confusing fans. As a journalist or as a commentator, you're supposed to educate the fans and tell fans what to look for. Your personal opinions and your biases should not be present when you're giving commentary. All it does is confuse the fans, and it's really a detriment to the actual fight, because we had such a great fight featuring 2 truly great fighters. It's really unfortunate.
And Kirk, matter of fact, let me make sure. E. King, are you on the line?
Yeah, man, I'm right here.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you was here, man. Welcome to the party, man. So, but speaking of Harold Letterman, I want people to understand this. Harold Letterman is the same judge. First of all, Harold Letterman, he sits right next to Jim Lampley and Max Kellerman. That's already a conflict of interest. It's a bad influence. You sitting right next to them, so you hearing all of the rhetoric that they're pushing out, and then you're judging the fight at the same time. On top of that, Harold Letterman is the same judge that scored the first Pacquiao versus Bradley fight. He scored that fight 11 rounds to 1. Okay? Forget who you thought won the fight. The fact that he scored the fight 11 rounds to 1, that tells you everything you need to know. And real quick, guys, we have a lot of guys on hold. We're going to answer some calls, so if you guys just stay tight, We're going to answer as many calls as we can in a couple minutes. But E. King, go ahead and give me your analysis, man. Oh, yeah, subscribe to E. King Fight News channel on YouTube as well.
So, real shit, man. Thanks for that. All I got to say is Andre Ward, man, he proved himself on that night, man. To come back from a second-round knockdown, and we all know, pound for pound, Sergey Kovalev, one of the hardest punchers in boxing.
Uh-huh.
And to come back from that and to not get hit with that same punch again shows you the level of fighter Andre Ward is.
Mm-hmm.
So where we know if he got hit with a similar type of shot, he would have been hurt again, and he would have been down again.
Yeah.
And for Andre Ward to just completely take away Kovalev's mid-range game, because that's really where Kovalev was excelling, was when he's not really on the outside but not really on the inside. When he's somewhere in the middle, that's where Kovalev is at his best.
Yeah.
And Andre Ward was able to snap that jab in the second half of the round and basically take advantage of Kovalev's stamina issue and dig in those body shots, man.
Yeah.
Those body shots took so much out of Kovalev that he was doing a lot of holding too. Both of them were doing holding, but Kovalev was holding just as much, if not more.
Mm-hmm.
And that's real intriguing because all Cassie Duva had to say was complaining about grappling with her own fighter was doing most of that shit too. So
Of course, because that's how he took away. That's how he took away Ward's inside game, man. I mean, it was smart on his part, and I want to make it very clear. Us talking about this fight. A lot of times when we talk, we're debating about certain things. We may disagree with people when it comes to certain fights or whatever the case may be. But I'm not debating on who won the fight. I'm debating on the fact that some ignorant decavs are trying to claim that this is a robbery. If you say I had Kovalev by 1 point, I'm not going to argue with you because once again, there were swing rounds in this fight. There were even rounds in this fight. So if you thought Kovalev won the fight, more power to you. But all three judges had the fight scored the exact same way. And, it's funny because I went to the Mayweather gym today, and I'm about to upload that video later on tonight. But I got everybody's reaction, and it was a whole bunch of mixed reactions. And it's funny because even the people in the gym that said they thought Kovalev won the fight, when I asked them who has the edge in the rematch, they all said Andre Ward has the edge in the rematch. I'm about to take a call, but one more thing I want to say is kind of, piggyback onto what E. King just said. You have to give Ward a lot of credit. Ward is not the power puncher. Ward is not the naturally bigger guy. And yet Ward comes off of a knockdown, and he finishes the fight stronger than the big guy does, than the actual strong guy does. He finishes the fight better than he does. That says a lot about Andre Ward's character. You really have to wonder what would have happened if Sergey Kovalev would have got caught with a power shot like that. But credit to Sergey Kovalev. I mean, his defense was on point. Sergey is a master at controlling distance and range. He doesn't have an inside game, but he's great at keeping you at distance. It kind of reminds me of an older brother, holding his younger brother's head by his hand, and keeping him far away. And, his little brother's trying to swing at him, but he can't hit him. That's kind of what Sergey Kovalev does. He keeps you at a distance where he can land his bombs and you can't even touch him. Bernard Hopkins seen that, and Andre Ward seen that as well. But Andre Ward was able to adapt, and adjust and come back and get the victory in a very close decision. I'm going to take a call because I had these guys, they've been on call for a long time, on hold, I should say, for a long time. So let's go ahead and take a call real quick. I'm going to call you guys out by your area code, all right? So we got area code 203 in the house. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Dontae, man? It's Warren from Connecticut, man.
All right. What's up, bro? What's good with you? What's on your mind, man?
No, man, I called into the show the other night. I was sort of laughing because we sort of agreed. I said I had Ward was going to win at 7-5, and I could see in the middle rounds, Kovalev clipped him, and Andre Ward responded well to it.
Mm-hmm.
There's 2 points I wanted to bring up. During the course of the fight, afterwards, after the knockdown, just the commentating at HBO was just so biased, man, that people
like
just
they wasn't even trying to hide it, huh?
that,
Go ahead.
Yeah, it was so biased that the third and the fourth rounds, I'm like, okay, Ward got that one. And what I noticed is the fight wore on, people didn't even notice that. Ward was going to that body so bad that Kovalev couldn't handle it. In the last few rounds, I'm like, Kovalev looked like daggone near out on his feet, because, I mean, at times he looked dizzy.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the judges responded to that. I mean, the cleaner, crisper punches in the second half of the fight, Ward was landing them. And I mean, that hand from Kovalev was snapping back. And I'm like, you know what? The ref is getting at him. I'm like, Ward's stealing rounds. It wasn't even like he's just dominating or winning. I'm like, he just was getting the cleaner shots off and stealing rounds. So I said, you know what? I had a draw, but then again at the end, like in the last 3 rounds, Kovalev seemed baffled. He didn't even seem like
he wasn't the same.
He was coming forward, and Ward was pushing the fight. So I think the judges might have got that. So I said I had Ward winning if he did by like narrow, maybe 7-5. If I could have scored it 6.5, I would have gave Ward 6.5. If he won, he won nil. But if they'd have gave it to Cove, I could have understood it. And shouts out to Virgil Hunter, because he did some hell of work in that corner.
Absolutely, man. You right, man. Yeah. And just to add on to what you just said, Eddie Mustafa Muhammad, I talked to him today, and you guys are going to see the video later on, but that's the main person he focused on. He said, man, we got to give all the credit to Virgil Hunter, because, you know, he basically got him back in the game. And you know, that just shows the mark of a great trainer when you are dealing with adversity and you can come back, you know, from a guy bigger than you, stronger than you, the best pound-for-pound fighter in that division and top 5 in the world, and you coming with a deficit, you know what I'm saying? And you still pull off the dub. I mean, that's big, man. And you're right, man. Shouts out to Virgil Hunter, man. But hey, man, I appreciate it. But thanks for your call, man. We're going to keep it pushing, man. Anything else you got on your mind real quick, man?
I appreciate y'all, man. Later.
All right. Take care, brother. All right, man. So, yeah, so no questions right there, man. But let's take another call, y'all. All right, I got area code 504 in the building. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, Doctor? This is Josh. I'm calling out of Dallas.
Okay, what's going on, Josh?
Not much. When I was watching the fight, I normally like to watch the fight by myself because I don't like a lot of people I watch the fight with in my family, kind of like casual fans, and they kind of like just be making unnecessary noises and stuff, and I don't want to hear all that. Mm-hmm. So I hosted a fight party, and I was watching a fight like this with all that going on, and also on HBO commentary. So I must say I kind of felt duped because I got kind of persuaded into listening to what HBO was saying, watching Ward get knocked down, watching the fight be so competitive, and I never seen Ward in a fight like this. So I was like, man, this dude, I don't know how he gonna shake this one out. And I actually had to fight a possibly draw or going towards Kovalev. Mm-hmm. So when they announced the decision, I was like, oh my goodness. I was running through the house. I was excited. I was happy that he won. Everybody else that was watching the fight with me, they thought it was a robbery. I couldn't convince them anything. So what I did was watch the fight again and stuff, and start listening. I started listening to interviews, like some of the interviews you guys was putting out, you Boxing Eagle and all that stuff, and I was listening to y'all interviews because I wanted to see what everybody else was saying around the fight that was there. Mm-hmm. And I was getting mixed views, okay? So that supported me more on why I did this decision. Mm-hmm. So I finally go back and I watched the fight and I muted, all right? And I cut off all the commentary and I'm just watching the fight with my own eyes and I'm being able to see more effectiveness what Ward was doing and how he was able to come back after the round. I gave Kovalev the first, second, and I gave him the 10th round and one of them middle rounds in between. And pretty much that's how I scored the fight. And I kind of felt, I was mad at myself for getting, like, duped by Jim Lampley and just listening to how they was just, huh?
Harold Letterman, the HBO judge there, who's been there for 5 years, way too long.
Justin UK.
Yeah, but you can't help all those because, like, I mean, if you in a crowd, really, like, you're not paying attention and you hear what they say and you just believe it. You know what I mean?
Exactly,
that's why, like, I go back and watch the fight over and over again because I think a lot of people miss the fact that Ward won the third round, and I think it was the third round and the fifth round. Kovalev just won the first, second, and like you said, one of the middle rounds, and I don't know how he gave the dude who was scoring for HBO 2 out of the last 3 rounds. He gave it to Kovalev. Like really?
Well, you notice that Max Kellerman disagreed with Letterman throughout the telecast whenever he said,
I was gonna say I agree with you.
Yeah.
Because Kellerman, he was always trying to disagree with Letterman because Kellerman was like, "What the fuck? I gave the round to Ward," and so he was like, "Yo, we gotta agree to disagree for this one."
Wait. So wait, because I didn't listen to the commentary because I already knew it was gonna be some BS. But so you're telling me that Max was arguing with Harold Letterman, saying that Ward won the round when Harold Letterman was picking Kovalev? Yeah. Is that what you're saying?
That was a few rounds.
And once again, hold on. Once again, to the fans, because I just had another guy, some guy named Wilbert Gomez. He just said the same thing. Wilbert Ramos. He said all black guys saying Ward won the fight. So Wilbert, I'm gonna go ahead and ask you right now. Why don't you explain to me why the fans that's not black, why they picked Andre Ward to win the fight? Explain that. Why did, like I said, Smitty from Inside This Corner, Arab King, and a whole lot of other people, why did they pick Andre Ward to win the fight? And, something else fans like this, they don't realize is when you say that, you're actually also saying that you said you believe that Andre Ward lost just because he's black. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you basically admitting that this is all based on race. Once again, which is why I say this is somewhat of a racial civil war when it comes to this fight. And we know for a fact 100%, the guy who just said that, we know that when Nicholas Walters got a draw against Jason Sosa, we know he didn't say, oh, that was a robbery. That was a ripoff. And we know when Lara fought against Canelo Alvarez, we know he didn't say that was the biggest robbery, right? I mean, so once again, this fight was way more closer than all those fights as far as I'm concerned. So, that's just what that is, though. But go ahead. You guys want to add on that? Yeah, we got a whole lot of people on hold right now. Did you guys want to add to that before we take another call?
I wanted to say one of the biggest quotes from the actual HBO telecast is Jim Lankby. He said, "A Letterman card is unofficial, and judges often disagree with it."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's right.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's big. That's big right there, and that tell you the whole story right there. But anyway, let's try to take another call because I want to see if we're gonna get some different perspectives. So we got another area code 203. What's going on, man?
Dontae, how you doing, man? This is Mo from Connecticut calling. How you doing, good brother?
All right, man. What's good, man? What's on your mind?
Nothing much, man. I'm calling in to say, man, first of all, the weekend was great. I think that was a great fight for boxing. I watched the fight with some casual fans who were not really into boxing that much. But even at the end of it, they said, you know what, that was a good fight. Even though the commentary kind of had them thinking what everybody else is saying, like, robbery and all that. But once they really thought about it and they looked at the whole story about him getting knocked down and then coming back, and then like I rewound the fight and showed them, like, look at the different body shots, look at the different headshots that Kovalev repeatedly kept taking.
Mm-hmm.
And round 5, 7, 8, 9, and 11 was a beautiful round for Andre.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like the whole story behind that. It should have been like a wake up call. It should have been something like to bring boxing back. But instead, the commentary constantly wants to, dig a hole for themselves, even though they're claiming they want boxing to be back what it was. But if you're constantly talking about robberies and unfair, why is the casual fan even going to come over and watch it?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. With all this, suspected wrong is going on. I just think, they put a black eye on boxing when it was a bright light for boxing. Like that whole story, the whole Andre Ward story is a bright light for boxing, and people need to embrace that.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, man. And I thank you for your call, and I completely agree with you, man. This right here, it propels both fighters' star status. whoever wins the rematch is going to be that close to being a superstar in the sport because everyone wants to see the rematch. Now we know that a lot of people thought going into this fight, Andre Ward was going to just dominate Kovalev, and it wasn't that easy. It was extremely competitive and close. So now we know that Andre Ward, he has his Roberto Duran, he has his Tommy Hearns, he has that significant other. So that just makes for a great rematch and maybe even a great rubber match, So man. I mean, and we haven't got to see that in a long time, right, guys? We haven't got to see two fighters considered pound for pound, top 5, not just top 10, top 5 pound for pound best fighters in the world fighting against each other. That's what you expect to get when everything is on the line, because that was the gold medal match. You feel me? So, yeah, man. But, hey, man, thanks for your call, man. And I'll catch up with you.
Keep up the good work, Dontae.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it, man. All right. So,
hey, Dontae, just to add on, the last time I think we've seen something like that was probably Pacquiao versus Marquez.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you consider the first fight. Because that first fight, as we all like to remember, Marquez down 3 times. And knockouts tend to give you amnesia, knockdowns tend to make you forget that, one knockdown is only worth 2 rounds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a 10-8.
Exactly.
And look at Andre Ward. He won a string of rounds. He basically, he almost swept the round 7 to 12, almost. There were absolutely swing rounds, and you could give Kovalev at least 1 round.
Absolutely.
But Ward, even if you look at the numbers, he landed, I think, 13 punches per round. I think boxing team did. They posted some stats, and Kovalev landed 10 punches per round as an average. But Ward's numbers had gotten significantly better from round 7 to 12. He was throwing more, landing more, and he landed at about 40% connect percentage. Which Jim Heffley loves to. He loves to mention that connect percentage being something of a great number if you're a great pound for pound fighter.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't mention that tonight.
Of course not.
Absolutely.
That defeats his narrative.
That defeats his narrative all day.
And every time Andre Ward landed punches, he won't really mention it, right? But as soon as Kovalev will land something, he will be screaming and mentioning it. Oh, he landed! Wow! I think he's winning the round just because he just landed some couple punches. Mm-hmm. And another thing, like when Andre Ward, he blocked 2 right hands. Like you could, even on the replay when they showed it, he blocked them. And then they still talking about, oh yeah, he hurt Andre Ward with that punch. I'm like, he blocked it.
Mm-hmm.
He was rolling away from it.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was in the 7th or something like that. And another scene, it was like in the 4th round or something, and Andre Ward blocked it, and they showing it in the replay, and he's saying, oh, he hurt him with that punch, even though he blocked it. So we already know what time it is.
And I'm about to take another call, but before I do, I want to say I was really surprised. I mean, we already know what type of personality Sergey Kovalev has, but I was surprised that he didn't show any type of respect for Andre Ward after the fight. He gave him 0 credit. I mean, he didn't say he did anything well. He just said, oh, the guy is overrated and, I expected better, et cetera, et cetera. How do you think you look if you just lost to an overrated fighter?
Tony.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
so he's overrated, but he has all your belts.
Exactly. But he has all of your belts. And on top of that, you sitting over here talking about, and it's funny how people use the excuses saying, oh, do you think, you were robbed because you came to America? I mean, let's just be real. I ain't gonna even sugarcoat this one. How often do you see America, showing favoritism towards a black fighter, against a non-black fighter? I mean, let's just put it out there and not even bullshit with that one. I mean, because what's so funny is when the media, it was like one of the media members that was asking that question, but that media member was an American. So, I mean, when I was talking to the members of the media, the majority of them were actually rooting for the foreigner. They wasn't rooting for Andre Ward. So that logically doesn't even make sense. And how is Sergey Kovalev still undefeated if America has been trying to cheat him so much? You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't make any sense. He's already fought against American fighters, you know? So
you know what's interesting is Kathy Duva, his promoter, said that she didn't feel like him being Russian had an effect on the judging.
Oh, that's
crazy coming from her.
That is crazy. Yeah. That means they're not even.
And also to your point.
Go ahead, Kirk.
Not only that, but if they had a problem with the judges, that should have been brought up in the pre-fight negotiation.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they have every right to bring up, the idea of having, quote unquote, more neutral judging. But I'm sure they were of the opinion that they were going to get an easy knockout against Andre Ward, so they weren't even worried about the judges.
Yeah,
and they chose the venue. I mean, they had control. I mean, and also just to touch on your point, Dontae, with the whole American fighter not getting the love from American journalists and American people, it seems like it's crazy how we have this thing with the national anthem and standing for the flag and everything like that. Now we want to be patriotic or whatnot, but we have an American Olympic gold medalist from America, the last male to do it, and he gets no love. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And
I don't know if y'all seen the interview of Larry Merchant, talking about the fight. He was talking about it was an ugly fight.
We talked to him.
Yeah. I mean,
and he was basically saying that that
you can completely
Andre Ward won.
You can completely disregard what he say. You know what I mean? That's like David Duke trying to justify voting for Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if you know your politics, David Duke, he was a former Klansman, so I mean,
that's why he ain't on HBO anymore. And I hope the rematch don't be on HBO, man.
Well, no, it is, unfortunately. It'd be great if it was on Showtime because they have great commentators, and all the PBC commentators are great as well. Once again, I'm going to take this call real quick, but one more thing I want to say before I take this next call is to add on to, him trying to pull the American versus Russia card that, they didn't treat him right or, he felt there was favoritism there. Remember, the biggest sport network in America is ESPN, right? ESPN's Dan Rafael. This is how much America loves to show favoritism towards American fighters. ESPN's Dan Rafael did not show up to Andre Ward's last 2 fights, right? He did not even bother to cover the fights that was down the street from him, but he flew all the way to the UK to watch 2 foreigners fight against each other, Golovkin versus Kell Brook, okay? So that right there, that tells you everything. That completely shuts down any, conspiracy theory of it being, some type of favoritism because they love black American fighters in America so much. And the judges weren't even black. You know what I mean? So that's, right. Once again, I keep seeing people in the comment section, some of these decafs, oh, you black people this, you black people that. But you don't realize all you're doing is exposing yourself as a racist. So okay, let's go ahead and let's take this next call. We got area code 516 in the building. What's going on, man?
Mark, good call from New York.
What's up, man? What's on your mind?
I'm not even gonna lie, man. I had to fight. Honestly, I had a 7-5 for Kovalev or a draw.
Okay.
I like Andre Ward. I was going for Andre Ward, but I just couldn't give him the fight. And let's be honest, I think both of the fighters got exposed in their own different ways. I think Kovalev got exposed as a fighter that gasses late and has no inside game. And I think Andre Ward got exposed as a fighter that if you keep him on the outside and don't let him get off on his punches on the inside and keep him at bay with a jab, he really doesn't have an answer for it. And let's be honest, I think it should have been given a draw because they both 2 elite fighters that fought great. And you know what I'm saying? Well, let's not make it seem like Andre Ward pulled off this phenomenal, dominant comeback. Neither. It wasn't no Marquez Pacquiao won. You know what I'm saying? He came back. He did his thing. They're both elite fighters. When you got 2 of the best fighting, they're gonna come back in a jab. It wasn't a Marquez Pacquiao dominant comeback. I think no fighter dominated.
Well, let me just say this once again. Like I said at the beginning of the show, you think Kovalev won the fight? I ain't going to argue with that because I truly believe, like I said before, this fight could have went either way. So, what you saying Kovalev won the fight, that's fine. The fight was that close. There were a lot of, like I said, swing rounds. So it makes sense if you have it the other way or you have it a draw. But to compare the fight to Marquez versus Pacquiao, you can't really do that because both of those fighters have terrible defense compared to Sergey Kovalev.
I understand, but you know what it is? People saying that Andre Ward came back and completely
Well, he did come back.
Like Kovalev. But no, of course he came back, but Kovalev was still in the fight too.
Oh,
it's not like he came back. Kovalev had no. Because, every time Andre Ward came back with his 1-2-3s, Kovalev still popped him with the jab. Now, Kovalev, he messed up because he had to keep going his double jab right hand to keep Andre Ward at bay. What he messed up is he stopped throwing the right hand. And then he gave Andre Ward time to come back. You're talking about two of the best fighters in the world, so they're going to make a adapt.
And listen,
was there a reason why he wasn't throwing the right hand? And, I mean, I definitely understand your... No, I'm just asking you. Do you think there was a reason why he wasn't throwing the right hand? Was it something
in the second half?
I don't think it was anything Andre was doing. I think, honestly, I thought at first I was like, wait a minute. He hurt his hand or something, or I don't know what's going on, because that right hand, Andre Ward had no answer for it to the later round. That double jab right hand, Ward had no answer for it, just like Kovalev had no answer for the inside fighting with the right hooks Andre Ward was hitting him with to the body. But I'll be honest with you, I've never seen Andre Ward so rattled in that fight.
He's never fought Sergey Kovalev. He's never,
but Kovalev, well, we knew what to expect with Kovalev. We knew he was going to come out and be dominant, but I never seen Andre Ward complain to the ref so much in that fight. And let's be honest, Virgil Hunter was talking to Andre Ward like he was talking to...
Ward has complained before. He complained when he fought Kessler.
But at the same time, a lot of times, look, Kovalev neutralized Andre Ward's style on the inside for a couple rounds.
Absolutely.
And at the same time, let's be real. Andre Ward was frustrated because he couldn't get his style off.
Absolutely.
That's why he picked up Kovalev's leg. Yeah, 2 times he picked up Kovalev's knee off the floor. And I'll be honest, I was surprised that Virgil Hunter was talking to him like he was talking to a kid in the amateurs. So I guess Andre Ward had to be a little rattled.
Of course he was rattled. Let me say this. Let me say this real quick. Everything that you saying right now is what you expect to see when 2 top 10 pound for pound fighters are going up against each other. When Sugar Ray Leonard fought against Tommy Hearns, everything you just described when it comes to Andre Ward is exactly what we seen in Sugar Ray Leonard in the first half. We seen him look frustrated. We seen Hearns neutralize Sugar Ray Leonard. We seen Hearns, outbox him. We seen, Sugar Ray Leonard who looked almost flawed compared to Hearns. That's what we seen in this fight, and just like the Leonard, hold on, just like the Leonard versus Hearns fight, if you have a fighter who's not as strong, you have a fighter like once again Andre Ward. He moved up in weight. He's facing a bigger, stronger guy, and he's the one that gets knocked down. He's behind on the scorecards. So I mean, why would you expect him to even be in the fight? Would you expect a guy who's getting dominated in the first half, would you even expect him to be in the fight? Look at what you said. You said he was frustrated. His trainer was talking to him like he was an amateur. He had no answers. How does a person deal with all of that adversity and still make the fight competitive and even take away, Sergey Kovalev's biggest weapon, which is his right hand? How is that possible?
Well, if you look at the consensus, Andre Ward is considered the best pound for pound fighter, so that's expected for him to make those adjustments.
No, you can't.
But you just said Kovalev was supposed to be dominant and crush him. I mean, he had.
No, I didn't say none of that. I said Kovalev exposed him a bit and was dominating with the double jab right hand, and I don't understand why he didn't throw the right hand. When I meant Virgil Hunter was talking to him like an amateur, I meant like psychologically he had to go back to the way he raised him and teach him, you know what I'm saying? And another thing I didn't like about the Kovalev,
it's called dealing with adversity. When you have a tough opponent, remember what did Sugar Ray Leonard's trainer say to him? He said, "You're blowing it, kid. You're blowing it." Right? He's talking to him with desperation. And, he's like, man, you're going to lose this fight. And that's what Floyd Sr. was saying to Floyd Mayweather, too, in the Pacquiao fight. He was like, hey, man, you letting this slip away from you. So,
Yeah,
I
he's
mean,
fighting
this is
scared. Yeah, he
so,
told him that.
yeah.
I think, to be honest with you, this fight doesn't determine who's the more dominant fighter. I think they really have to fight probably
So
two
who
more
do you
times
pick?
because
Okay. So I'm gonna ask you real quick. Now you're gonna be recorded right now. Tell me who's gonna win the rematch. Who's gonna win the rematch? Because you said it. Neither one of them is dominated. So who do you pick to win the rematch?
I think it's so many different factors. I'm going. I like Andre Ward as a person. But
And
I
it's
like
not about
Kovalev
who you
style
like.
more.
It's not about who you personally
Yeah,
like. It's just about.
No,
It's
let me
just
finish.
about.
You're not letting me finish.
Go ahead.
I'm getting ready to what I'm saying. Look, if Kovalev does the same thing he was doing in the first 4 rounds, he should be able to beat Andre Ward with the jab. But if he falls into the same trap in the later rounds, of course Andre Ward is going to win.
No, you got to pick somebody though, because you told me that Sergey Kovalev he tires in the second half. So
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I'm going for Kovalev 7 rounds to 5, with respect to Andre Ward.
Okay. So you picking Kovalev to win the rematch? Good. That's fine.
Yeah, because of his jab.
That's
Because of his
fine.
jab was so dominant.
And bro, I want you to understand, it's nothing wrong. It's nothing wrong with making that pick, bro. Nothing wrong with making that pick because it's that close. Sergey Kovalev could win the fight just as well as Andre Ward could. But anyway, hey man, thanks for your call, man. Call back. I'm gonna go to a next caller. All right, take care, bro.
All right, thanks.
All right, no doubt, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to reply to what he was saying earlier. Kovalev broke his hand. He didn't break his hand.
Yeah.
He just couldn't land it anymore because Andre Ward took it away from him.
He said he got tired too. Yeah, and he said he got.
And Andre Ward, you got to give credit to Andre Ward for making an adjustment and taking that right hand away from him. And with the tackle thing, when he said Andre Ward was frustrated, that's why he tried to tackle him. He did that because Kovalev put him in a headlock and pushed down on him, so he could, make him get tired. So Andre Ward, and he's a veteran, so what he did, he picked him by his feet, so Kovalev won't push down on him as much. So they both, get tired. It's a veteran move, and you got to give Andre Ward credit for that as well.
I mean,
so it's part of making adjustments. It's not the fact that he's getting frustrated. No, he's just finding ways to win.
Yeah,
he was being caught with the right hand. After the couple rounds, he took Kovalev right hand away. And people said, Kovalev broke his right hand. No, he didn't break his right hand. He just couldn't land it. If he would still throw it.
Yeah,
Even the punches was landing. Even the punches Kovalev was landing. It didn't have the same effect. It was like the snap was completely off his punches. And even if he landed a clean shot, Ward would be rolling it. And he'd be taking the snap off. And you see one of Ward's jabs just completely blast Kovalev's head back. Like you can see there's a difference in impact from the punches Ward was landing in the second half of that fight. That really definitely brought up
Roy Jones. And Roy Jones said that Ward's punches were more explosive than Kovalev's. Kovalev has a heavier hand, but Ward was more explosive. And the reason why Kovalev was getting tired was because Andre was switching things up. He'd move from side to side. He had Kovalev chasing him as opposed to cutting the ring off. He went to the body.
Yeah.
He roughed him up in the clinch. He was actually working inside the clinch.
Yeah.
I mean, he jabbed him. He did several things to make Kovalev get tired. It wasn't just Kovalev got tired and decided not to throw the right hand. It was things that Andre was doing.
Yeah, and once again, we keep saying, or I keep saying, I respect anyone who thought Kovalev wins the fight or won the fight. But when you start saying crazy stuff like, it wasn't nothing special to come back from a knockdown and win 5 rounds in a row or finish stronger than the guy who's supposed to be bigger than you, everything that guy just said, the last caller, he doesn't even realize he just ended up giving Andre Ward even more credit. When he says, they were dealing with adversity, you had Virgil Hunter talking to his fighter, different, things are more intense in the corner, et cetera, et cetera. All you really doing is showing that it was a dramatic situation and Andre Ward, he prevailed, through all of what was going on. So that.
One last thing, Dontae. When he said it wasn't no Marquez comeback. First of all, Marquez was losing some of the rounds as well after he got knocked down in the first round by Pacquiao, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it was a draw at the end, or you could have had it either way because at the end of the day, Pacquiao was still winning some of the rounds afterwards. So you can't tell me just Marquez came back and dominated when he was getting hit as well. He had poorly but Marquez don't have the best defense in the world.
Yeah.
So you can't say that was a comeback, and this fight ain't a comeback.
Yeah.
When he was down in the earlier of the fight, and he was moving up in weight, and then came back versus the bigger guy and won the fight.
Yeah.
So how can you say, or if you had it a draw, because he initially said he thinks the fight was a draw or for Kovalev. So you basically you stated he came back and won most of the rounds afterwards.
Absolutely.
And you know what? When people say a draw, that basically means that because there was a knockdown, it's very difficult to score a draw if there's a knockdown in the fight. You'd have to have a 10-10 round.
Yeah.
And in that 10-10 round, if you swing that to the other fighter, it becomes 10-9, and you have the other guy winning.
Exactly.
It could have easily gone to the other guy when you say it could have been a draw.
And
it could have easily gone to the other guy, but I don't want to say it like that.
And also, you don't have to dominate. I was gonna say you don't have to dominate a round to win the round. I mean, there can be competitive rounds where you might land a significant punch or two to have the round go in your favor. So Kovalev was competitive in these rounds and he was fighting back, but Andre was still winning these rounds. He didn't have to dominate to win the round.
That's a great point.
That is a very good point. Very good point.
Yeah.
And hold on.
And that's how you score boxing. That's how you score boxing.
Because Andre Ward back in the past, he would dominate, and it's not even a question, right? Now they see him in kind of like close rounds. Automatically, he loses the round if it's close. No, you got to give it to the person who is doing better, who's controlling the other person, who's landing the better shot.
And the person is putting in more effort. And the person is putting in more effort. The person who wants it more. You can clearly see Ward wanted it more than Kovalev did because Kovalev slowed down. He abandoned his right hand in the second half. He was landing nothing but jabs, and he admitted he was tired. And getting tired, it comes with frustration. It comes with possibly getting hurt by a punch that we didn't see. So it's a lot of intangibles. But I want to take another call real quick. It was something else something else I wanted to say to respond to what the dude said. Do you guys notice how he tried to say there was nothing special about what Andre Ward did? But when I asked him who wins the rematch, he didn't really know what to say. The way he explained it, you would have thought he would have picked Kovalev like right off the bat. Like, oh, Kovalev wins that fight. I mean, the guy was struggling. Virgil Hunter, he was talking to his fighter like an amateur. Oh, Sergey wins the fight easy. You know what I mean? You would have expected that. So, it's a lot of things to look at. But let me take one more call. I think this is an international number right here. Starts with 442. Go ahead, man. You on the line. What's up, man?
Hey, this is Justin. I'm calling from the UK.
All right. What's up? Our first UK call. What's going on, man?
Yeah, you know what? Sorry to cut you, but Sky Sports completely different judging.
I heard that.
Completely different to HBO. It was fair. They judged it how they saw it. There's no bias at all. Some had it 3 up for Ward, 2 up for Ward. And what I saw, I thought Ward won it. And all the guys that was with me, we thought Andre Ward won it. I think Andre Ward is appreciated in the UK a lot more than the US, like much more.
Oh, yeah.
We really appreciate the technical aspect of boxing over here. And our atmosphere is completely different. We really appreciate Ward, especially after the Colfrot fight. He's one of the fighters we really look up to. And it was a great fight. When I first watched it, I actually thought Ward lost the first round. I was like, okay. Yeah. And when I first watched it did look like Ward wasn't his normal self in the first 3 rounds. And I thought the fight was going to end quite early. And then when I watched it again, I gave Ward the first round. And to be honest, I couldn't really see. It was an Andre Ward fight. This wasn't a Kovalev fight. Kovalev dominates his opponents. He runs through them. This was an Andre Ward fight. And this is how you should judge a fight as well. Was it a Kovalev fight or Andre Ward fight? Clearly an Andre Ward fight. I think
exactly.
Clearly. And I think the rounds, I couldn't give Kovalev, I couldn't give Kovalev many rounds after the fourth, to be honest. Like, no one really dominated, but Andre Ward edged. I wouldn't even say edged it. I just thought he landed more effective punches, and that's how I judged it. For me, it was a pattern. You know, Kovalev will chase Andre Ward around, then he'll stop. Andre Ward would, go to him, and then Kovalev will chase him around the ring. Then Andre Ward will go to him. Kovalev stopped halfway through, and I just think it's number one, it was great. Andre Ward, he went up to fight Kovalev, something that Canelo ain't doing, something Triple G ain't doing. He went up to fight, and no one's talking about this. No one's talking about this. Yep. And number two, Kovalev didn't celebrate after the fight was finished. Both of them fighters knew, whoa, this could go either way. We're not sure. Kovalev didn't know he won the fight. He didn't. His arms went in the, no one knew. It was, I was thinking, because of the knockdown, I'm not sure they might not give it to Ward because of the knockdown and politics. Because they were saying, Sky was saying, hey, HBO got this mad scoring going on. They think they talked about Dan Raphael saying, yeah, he's got that 6 up. And then we just thought, what? They're watching a completely, because I've got family in New York, Atlanta, and they were saying, yeah, HBO is saying Ward's winning. I said, completely different to Sky Sports. And I just think it's disgusting how Andre Ward's being treated, to be honest. It's I don't know why, what's going, I don't know if HBO, I don't know, Andre Ward's not in contract now with HBO, and Kovalev is, I guess. I don't know.
It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter because even when Floyd Mayweather was in contract with them, they treated him like crap. And you would think they would be smart enough to be like, this is the guy that's making HBO all of this money. Let's respect him a little bit. But their hate, they could not separate their hate from doing their job. And that has something to do with why Floyd Mayweather ended up bouncing. And now HBO, they done took some massive pay cuts because Floyd Mayweather has left. That's part of it. So go ahead. No,
absolutely, absolutely right. I think Andre Ward, forget that. Come back to don't fight Kovalev next again. I think leave that for now. I think go fight Nathan Cleverly. He's got a belt. Come to the UK and have a massive payday. He'll have that could be Wembley Stadium again. The same as like Carl Fletcher, George Groves. Come over here, be appreciated. Then fight Stevenson. And then look at Kovalev. I don't think he should fight Kovalev next. I think for me,
he may not have a choice.
Most of the UK.
He may not have a choice according to Kathy Duva, but that's a good point though. I mean, or that's a good idea for him to build his.
They
have
a rematch clause.
Yeah, they have a rematch clause. So they already talking about March, and Andre Ward, he already said, if we have a rematch, I'm just going to beat him easier because he ain't going to do anything different. So that'll be interesting, man. But thanks for your call, man. I appreciate it, man. All right.
No problem.
Take care, man. All
cool.
right, man. Yep.
Hey, Andre,
shout out to the UK.
Yep, UK. UK in the house. Shout out to UK.
Dontae, I want to say one last thing, man. I mean, if you in the corner, would you rather, if you was Andre Ward, would you rather have a coach like Freddie Roach when Pacquiao was losing to Floyd, hit him, hype him up, and tell him, yo, you need to go and win these rounds because you're losing, and get back, and win these rounds? Or would you rather have somebody like Hunter, and telling you, hey, this is it. You want it or you don't want it, and that's what basically Hunter did. It's not the fact that he's panicking. It's the fact he's telling him the truth and he's telling him what he needed to do to win the fight.
Yeah, and to your point, Hunter, he's a master motivator. We've seen this with Andre Berto, with some of the other guys, Alfredo Angulo, how he's talked to him and tried to motivate him to pretty much perform at the highest level. Amir Khan. And it's interesting looking at the contrast of corners. You have Andre Ward in his corner with Virgil Hunter, listening to every single word, soaking up all the knowledge and inspiration from his coach, from his trainer. You look at Kovalev, he's speaking to John David Jackson, and he's not even listening to him. Yeah. He's ignoring him. He's talking to his Russian, trainer in the corner.
That's an interesting point. But, and I want to say something else to the fans right now. If you notice, we're not saying that this was a robbery. We're not saying Andre Ward, he beat the shit out of Kovalev. We're not saying any of that. I've said it tons of times, and I'm going to say it again. The fight could have went either way. The people who say this fight was a robbery, you're the ones being biased because that sounds ridiculous. One more time for the people who didn't catch the whole show. All three judges, and they weren't black, by the way, because I see some of these decals playing a race card, all this black shit, but all of the judges, they had it the exact same way. 114, 113. Guess what? Harold Letterman, the judges, and even me, we all had the exact same scorecard going all the way until the ninth round, I believe. I had the exact same scorecard that Harold Letterman had going into the ninth round, and that's when he started, acting dumb and giving Kovalev rounds that were clearly, one of those rounds were clearly an Andre Ward round, but then there was another round that was kind of like a swing round. But, so that just goes to the point that ain't nobody you're not gonna have this many judges, you're not gonna have this many analysts and people seeing the fight the same way. When I ask professional boxers and trainers, what did you think about the fight? The first thing they say is, man, that was close. Oh, that was close. I haven't heard one professional boxer, trainer, promoter, anyone say, man, that fight was a robbery. Boxing is dead and this and that. You only hear decals on the internet say that, right? No one is saying that this was a robbery. Once again, they may say, Teddy Atlas, he said that he thought Kovalev won by 1 point. Once again, Smitty from inside this corner, he thought Ward won by 2 points. This is how it's been. It's been split down the middle. All right, so go ahead, guys. You want to say something real quick before I try to squeeze in another call?
One of Andre's biggest detractors, Abel Sanchez, he had Andre winning.
Wow. You know what? And Kirk, and Kirk, you on your game because I didn't even know that. I didn't even know that. So yeah, that tells you everything. And Kirk and Abel Sanchez, yeah, like you said, he's not an Andre Ward fan. He actually predicted that Kovalev would win this fight. So what does that tell you? Oh, by the way, he's not black. All right. So because they keep putting that, Wilbert Romero, he put that in the comment section. Oh, these black guys are the only people Abel Sanchez does not like Andre Ward. And he picked Sergey Kovalev to win the fight. And now he's saying Andre Ward won the fight. So that completely that shuts down any ridiculous excuses of playing the race card when it comes to this fight. So let's try to take another call. We got a whole lot of calls lined up, and I appreciate all y'all staying on hold, man. So we're gonna take another call. We got area code 908. What's going on, man?
Hey, what's up, buddy?
All right, what's going on? Where you calling from? What's your name?
My name is Tony. I'm calling from New Jersey.
All right. What's good? What's on your mind, man?
Yeah, man, I saw the fight, man, and I'm a humongous boxing fan, and I think that Kovalev won the fight.
Okay.
And the reason why I say it is because Ward did well, but it's like I think he showed up too late in the fight.
Yeah, that's fair. That's a fair assessment. That kind of. Go ahead.
Yeah, he showed up kind of late. I say probably by like the 6th or 7th round. But to be honest, what I don't hear is nobody giving Ward credit for taking up on this guy, because this guy was a beast.
He was a beast.
I've been watching this Kovalev guy, been knocking everybody out, and he even fought Hopkins, and Hopkins you couldn't even get through him. Even though Hopkins is older, and you can't really count that, but still, like Hopkins is still relevant enough to keep up with this guy, I feel. Mm-hmm. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll say this. I think all of us thought when Kovalev did this to Hopkins, it was impressive. But, of course there was a but. Bernard Hopkins, he was 50 years old. But I'll be honest, when I seen what Kovalev was doing to Ward in them first 6 rounds, I was like, man, I knew this guy was good, but he's way better than I thought he was. I mean, the way he was controlling the distance, once again, taking away Andre Ward's inside game. He had Andre Ward flustered in the first half, So I was really, really impressed. And it's funny because I always thought Kovalev would beat Adonis Stevenson. But then when I seen Adonis Stevenson knock out top dog Tommy Williams, and I seen his inside game, because I always said, Stevenson is kind of like a Manny Pacquiao. He only has a left. He has no inside game. So I thought Kovalev would beat him. But then when I seen his inside game, I said, oh, now I may lean towards Adonis to beat Kovalev. But after I just seen what Sergey did to Ward in the first 6 rounds, I'm back to probably picking Sergey to beat an Adonis. So yeah, man, I was really impressed with both fighters. I was really impressed. To do that to Andre Ward, even if it was just for 6 rounds, it was highly impressive. It was highly impressive.
And what I feel, hold on, what I feel is that if Andre Ward fights Kovalev again, it is over for Kovalev, because I feel that Andre Ward, because some people look at boxing and they don't understand the real science to it, because there's little hidden things that, what I saw from what Ward was he made proper adjustments by holding him, by going in and hitting them with these, because I always thought that Ward is like the modern Hopkins. Because Ward is really that nice, and people sleep on him. And I give Ward so much credit because, to me, my personal thing, I put Ward over Floyd, because Ward is doing these things right now. I feel that this fight was such a juicy fight because both guys was in their prime, both guys was undefeated, both guys was at their peak of, because Pacquiao and Mayweather really wasn't in their peak, because even though they were the same age, Pacquiao was more of a beat fighter than Floyd, if you want to get technical. So, what I feel is that Ward was in his prime and Kovalev was in his prime, and both of them clash. And I think that, Kovalev, if Andre to me would have won at least the 5th round because he made the adjustment. Once he made the adjustment, and you could really see that Kovalev cannot have no inside game whatsoever. And Ward was able to tie him up and to bully him. And you hardly see a little man bullying a big guy like that by pushing him back, holding him, you know what I'm saying, doing all of these tricks, hitting him with these little short uppercuts that was like, I look at little detail like that, and, I can see why now they gave him the fight. But when I start, looking at it from the stylistic point, I feel that it was close enough. Kovalev won just by a point, if you wanted to say. But, if there was a rematch and they do it 2 or 3 times, I guarantee I could put my money on it. I will put my money on Ward, because he already been in there with him. He already felt his power. He already knows what it's going to take. So he going to eat him up. So I would love to see the rematch, and I would love to see Ward whip his ass this time.
Hey, man, that's what it is. And hey, great breakdown, great assessment, man. Thanks for your call, man. I appreciate it, man.
All right, man.
Take care, man.
And Dontae, you think, like a lot of people like that take credit away from Andre, say, oh, he's not number 1 pound for pound because he was struggling, right? But you don't understand, he was fighting another guy.
Nobody is fighting Sergey Kovalev. Yeah.
Yeah, he's on the top 3 pound for pound. So if you find another guy who's on the top 5, top 3 pound for pound, and you won the fight like that, and then in a rematch, if you could even beat him again, how can you say, oh, he's not number 1 pound for pound, when he fought a guy on the top 3 pound for pound and moved up in weight to fight him and won, and he ain't ducking no rematch, and he's willing to fight him again.
I mean, right. The obvious question is if he's not pound for pound, who is then? Because what's his name, Roman Gonzalez, he ain't fighting no Sergey Kovalevs. You know what I'm saying? Gennady, what's his name? Gennady Golovkin. Yeah, I said Roman Gonzalez before. I got a little distracted with that noise that just popped up right there. But Gennady Golovkin, he fought Kell Brook last. Roman Gonzalez, he fought, Carlos Cadras. None of those guys are top 10 pound for pound fighters, right? So once again, this was unprecedented because we have not seen 2 pound for pound top fighters undefeated fight against each other in years. You know what I mean? It's seldom that you see it. So it's expected that the fight would be extremely competitive. Go ahead, Kirk.
I was going to say, if it's anyone else, we're going to be, screaming to the moon, oh my God, what a great fight. If it's, when Arturo Gatti, for example, when him and Mickey Ward were having their wars and he had to go through hell to secure a victory against Ward in fights 2 and 3. Oh my God, Arturo Gatti's such a great fighter. when Juan Manuel Marquez and Manny Pacquiao are having their duels, and they're both having to adjust to each other and do whatever it takes to win. They're celebrated as heroes. We have a undefeated, like you guys just said, 2 undefeated fighters in their prime.
Yeah,
top guys. Yeah, and I mean, this should only add to Ward's legacy. This puts him in that class where he should be considered one of the greats. I mean,
oh, no doubt.
Exactly. I mean, if Roman Gonzalez could move up the way and fight a pound-for-pound fighter like Rigondeaux, and he could edge it out by a close fight, shit, we give him all the credit in the world. But when you fight somebody who's not really that known, and y'all saw how he looked in his last fight, that's not top 3 pound-for-pound quality fighter.
And that's true. And to respond to what Dude said, the last caller, once again, since he brought up Mayweather, I'm gonna respond to it. When you say it doesn't make sense when fans, and we know it's more personal when fans say this, but when they say, oh, when Floyd fought against Pacquiao, he wasn't in his prime. Once again, we talking about, now that I think about it, the last time 2 fighters that were both considered in the top 5 pound for pound fought against each other, guess what fight that was? That was Mayweather versus Pacquiao, right? They had Pacquiao. Some reporters had Manny Pacquiao or websites. They had him all the way up to number 2, the best fighter in the world. So you can't say there's no such thing as a guy who's rated pound for pound number 2 in the world being past his prime. It doesn't make any sense, right? So we really know what's on top of that. They had polls, and when they did their polls, every poll had Pacquiao as the favorite to beat Floyd Mayweather. You guys remember the pay-per-view HBO right before the fight started? Yeah. They did a poll on who they thought would win the fight, and it was Manny Pacquiao that was the favorite. So you can't say after the results, oh, he was old, he was past his prime. One more point I want to make when it comes to past his prime. If Manny Pacquiao was past his prime, why were fans still demanding the fight right before it got signed? They were still saying Floyd Mayweather was ducking him. You wouldn't say he was ducking a guy past his prime, because if that's what you really felt, you would say, Floyd Mayweather ain't ducking this dude because that dude is old and past his prime. Floyd will beat him easy. Nobody was saying that. The same people who say Floyd beat an old, faded Pacquiao are the same fans, that now say, or were saying before Floyd was afraid of him. I just wanted to respond to that situation right there.
Yeah, and we need to mention the Walter Lomachenko fight.
Yeah, I was almost thinking about doing, let's go ahead and talk about that, man. So, we got to talk about that, because now expectations are even higher, for me when it comes to, we just watched another Russia versus USA, and this weekend, this right here is going to be, I forget where, what's his name, Nicholas Walters. He's from Panama, right? But it's another dominant Russian fighter is the point that I'm making, So with that being said, it's a lot more pressure, I think, on Walters and especially on Lomachenko. But I'll be honest with you guys, I'm probably going to lean towards Lomachenko on this fight right here. But it really, really comes down to how is he going to deal with Walters' reach, his natural size, his accuracy when it comes to that stiff-ass, long-ass bazooka jab that he has. So there's a lot of things that you have to look at. I'm not real confident with who wins this fight. I kind of slightly lean towards Lomachenko because of his boxing ability, but I could easily see Walters walking him down. So I'm all over the place when it comes to this fight. How do you see it playing out, Kirk?
You know what? To me, it's a toss-up. I'm curious if the long layoff is going to affect Walters, because I don't think he's been in the best ideal shape leading up to the announcement of the fight and actually having it go through. I don't know if that was intentional, if they wanted to, try and gain some kind of advantage doing that. I'm not too sure. Yeah. But if he's at his best, Nicholas Walters, he presents a lot of problems. He has that long range. I mean, they call him the Axeman for a reason. He chops his opponents down. And what's really underrated on his part is he's actually a really good inside fighter.
Yeah.
You got to pick somebody, man.
I'm gonna go with Walters. I'll go with the upset. I'm gonna go with Walters.
AK.
I got you.
AK.
Well, first of all, I want to say we'll see how HBO Are they going to favor the puncher this time or the boxer?
You know they're going to contradict themselves.
Or
all of a sudden, it ain't going to be called running. Yeah, it ain't going to be called running no more. This weekend, it ain't going to be running no more. It's going to be fantastic boxing.
Exactly, and Andre Ward didn't even move that much. He was
he didn't. He didn't.
Yeah, so we'll see in this fight how they're gonna call every Lomachenko punch. But as far as the fight, the only thing I'm really worried about, which you point out, the layoff for Walters, and he was in his best shape. But other than that, I'm gonna go with Walters. But it's a 50-50 fight. It's a true 50-50 fight. But the reason I'm going with Walters is the fact that he has a 73-inch reach. I cannot get over that. And I don't care. I mean, I give Lomachenko all the credit in the world if he could outbox him. But if you have a reach like that and you pressuring somebody like Lomachenko, and I'm telling you, I think Loma don't fight at his best off the back foot. He fights better when he's pressuring you, even though he's a boxer and an Olympian.
Yeah.
So I feel like if Walters come with his A game, with his jab and right hand and power and inside game, I feel like he could edge this one out. However, I'm picking Walters, but it's going to be a robbery or it's going to be a close fight and they're going to give it to Loma. But it's going to be like a fight with 8 rounds to 4 for Walters. But I cannot see how Walters is going to be able to win through the judges and HBO when they're already talking about Lomachenko versus Pacquiao at 135, 140, and they're serious about it. I just don't see how they're going to risk all that. And I feel like they did this layoff thing on purpose for Walters because the last opponent Lomachenko fought, they found more money out of nowhere for a less opponent, and they tried to lowball Walters. And because it was his last fight on the contract, they probably tried to lowball. Lowball him, not let him take the fight. So it could be a long layoff, and then come and offer him the fight again, and basically try to get him after a long layoff. But I'm still gonna pick him, and I think it's gonna be a robbery or a close fight for Loma. But I hope. But if Loma wins, I always give the credit where credit is due. But that's just how I feel, and that's how I see it.
Yeah, that's an excellent breakdown. A lot of good points, AK. Because now you're right. Now that you mention it, when you think about it, if they would try to rob Nicholas Walters against Jason Sosa, what are they going to do when he fights against Lomachenko? You know what I mean? So that's a scary thought right there. I mean, it may have to be a point. It may be a situation where Nicholas Walters, he's going to have to really hurt Lomachenko. And Nicholas Walters is one of those rare fighters that can knock out fighters on the elite level. Because you notice whenever fighters step up in competition, the knockouts kind of evaporate, right? But you have a few fighters out there. I believe fighters like Errol Spence, fighters like Nicholas Walters, I believe these fighters, they can find ways to knock out elite fighters. So I'm not saying, he's going to knock out Lomachenko, but I would not be surprised if we see Lomachenko get hurt in this fight. I mean, like I said,
the only thing is that Loma has a great defense. That's the only thing. He really has a good defense.
Loma has a great defense, but he did get hit with a lot of straight rights against Roman Martinez. Roman Martinez, there was a lull in the action, I would say, in the middle rounds. And it didn't last that long for Roman, but he started landing some good straight right hands, and he started backing up Lomachenko. But then Lomachenko, like the special fighter he is, he rallied back, and he went back to outboxing Roman. But I attributed that partially to how great Loma was, but also how slow Roman Martinez was. He's no Nicholas Walters. So it's really going to come down to because you could be a great, fantastic boxer, but how do you deal with 12 rounds of pressure? And not just pressure, not dumb pressure, but intelligent pressure, because that's what Nicholas Walters brings to the table. He comes after you with, he has this great, accurate jab, and his jab is like a right hand. It's a lot of power, and he's great at setting you up with punches. But Lomachenko is great with his angles and his counter punching and his speed. So we'll have to see. I'm gonna take another call and see who's on the line. Thanks for holding, by the way.
You haven't got E-King prediction yet.
My man. Yeah, my man E-King.
I forgot.
Yeah, we've been talking to so many people on the line, man. Hey, E-King, what's your prediction on that?
This is probably one of the tougher fights to predict, I think.
Yeah.
Looking at both styles, I could kind of wish Walters was a bit shorter. And I kind of wish he fought like Orlando Polito a bit, because Polito gave him so many problems when he was rushing in and just bullying. He was bullying all around in that fight. And I really think that's sort of the blueprint in terms of how to beat Lomachenko, because he's so gifted
and
on the outside with his foot movement.
So
it's very difficult to get the upper hand against him, because he's got a solid defense and he knows how to fight on the outside, and he knows how to neutralize. I think he learned a lot from the Polito fight as well. So in terms of Walter's inside game, he's going to have to try and time Lomachenko on a big shot and just get him off of his rhythm. He's got to take him off of his rhythm.
Yeah.
And it's going to be difficult for Walters to do that because once he gets going, he's like the energizer. But he runs like a mini man Pacquiao, but with better boxing skills.
Mm-hmm.
So I got Lomachenko by decision right now. I got him by decision.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it makes sense. It makes a whole lot of sense. I'm gonna take another call over here. Let me see right here. All right. We got area code 518. What's going on, man?
Hey, what up, man? It's Will from Albany.
All right. From where?
Albany, New York.
Oh, Albany. All right. What's going on? What's on your mind, man?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of your show, first of all, man. So I just wanted to say that. And
appreciate
and
it,
people need to start paying Andy Ward a little more respect, man. He's not only a gold medal winner, but he's a gold medal type person. You know what I mean? He's definitely a high character individual.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the reason he wasn't getting hit with the right hand anymore is because he was countering with a left hook, and Kovalev was trying to feel the left hook, so he didn't want to throw that right hand out there no more. He was getting tired, so when you get tired, you start to slow. Like his punches started to get a little slower, so the timing was getting better for Andy Ward to get him. So he started throwing the right hand, and it's funny how Kathy Duba automatically off the rip, she said that he hurt his hand, but he basically made it look like a lie. He said no, I didn't hurt my hand. So it's all mental. He can't the next fight around, if they fight again, Andre Ward's definitely gonna either stop him by 8 or 9 rounds, or he's gonna go to distance. But he's mentally not strong. But I tell you what, though, again, a lot of respect for Kovalev, though. He's not bad.
Oh, no doubt.
But his offense is his best defense too.
No doubt.
You know what I mean?
No doubt.
But I got a lot of respect for him now. But he lost that fight by definitely by a round. But it was a close fight, though.
Yeah, it was.
People.
Go ahead.
It's funny how I was watching the HBO commentary, and it was disgusting, man. There's two people I never want to hear talk again. It's Letterman and Abel Sanchez. I'm kind of done. Two clowns talking.
Oh man,
it's horrible, man. It's straight clown. It's shenanigans, man. It's just straight shenanigans, man. It's like every time I hear Abel talk, I'm like, wow, man, you're crazy. And then when I saw the scorecard, I was like, yo, they're gonna rob my man over here. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It was that bad, man. It was that bad. I've been watching boxing for 40 years, man. It's to me, it's ridiculous, man. I wish that Andre Ward would leave HBO just for the simple disrespect that I've seen last time.
A lot of people been saying that, man. A lot of people been saying that. I was hearing a reporter say to me yesterday, he was, Andre Ward, he calls fights for HBO. I said, that don't mean nothing. They treated him like shit on the Fight Game.
Yeah,
him
man.
and Michelle Beadle. You know what I mean? Talking about first she clowns him for being inactive, right? Then right after that she says, "Why don't you fight Sergey right away? You was just saying he was inactive." And then you turn right back around and say, "Why don't you fight him right away? Because you a bitch, ain't you, Ward?" I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what she was saying.
Yeah, basically. Here's somebody else that I want to see Ward do. I want to see Ward fight what's his name there? What the hell is his name?
Adonis Stevenson?
Nah. I want to see my man from HBO, from Philly. What's his name? Bernard Hopkins. I want to see Ward give Hopkins the business too, because he was kind of a little disrespectful a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
So I want to see Hopkins get the Ward.
Well, I would like to, me personally, I would like to see Hopkins versus Golovkin. I think that would be interesting. I mean, I know Hopkins is 50 plus, and not saying he would beat him, but I think that fight would be interesting. Just since you brought up,
I'll take Hopkins over him though. I'll take at 50 years old.
Yeah, damn, that would be embarrassing. That would be embarrassing. That would be embarrassing for Golovkin. I'll tell you that. Hey man, well, I'm gonna let you go, man. But thanks for the call, bro. All right.
Yeah, I appreciate the time, man. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Take care, man. All right, y'all. So yeah, man. So that's what it is, man. So next weekend, or this weekend now, Walters versus Lomachenko. It's about to be another nail biter, and that's pretty much what it is. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised, who wins this fight, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up, guys. Everybody who's on hold right now, we'll try to get you guys back on the next show, guys. We're gonna go ahead and wrap it up. AK, go ahead and take us out, man. Anything on your mind?
Yeah, man. It's just gonna be a dope fight this weekend. Boxing is back. We just had a great fight. 2 fighters on the top 5 pound for pound, and this weekend we're gonna have another great fight. And just hope. The only bad thing is just on HBO. We gotta hear all that bullshit again. But man, thanks for having me on the show, Dontae. Man, it's a pleasure to talk about boxing with real boxing fans who understand boxing, man, and keep it up.
And Kirk Johnson, if cats want to follow you, you want to give them your information?
Check out boxinginsider.com and check out the KL Corner on YouTube.
Okay, that's what it is, my man. E King Fight News. Go ahead and subscribe to his channel. You already know your boy DBN, Dontae's Boxing Nation. It's the nation, baby. We'll see you guys next week. Matter of fact, we may be doing another show this week. So thanks to all you guys for tuning in. We on to the next one, y'all.
All right, man.
All right, y'all. Deuces, everybody.